All right, welcome back, everybody. Back with another quick little news of the day video here for you guys. And as expected, things have really started to ramp up in the post-TI 11 roster shuffling period. It's been a few days now since TI ended, and it's been reasonably busy, mainly players leaving teams, joining the free agent pool. And matter of fact, I should probably be making a video pretty soon covering which players exactly are available in the free agent pool, and most of which are actually willing to relocate, which is pretty nice to hear because that means that we have more possibilities of players playing together on a new team that wouldn't have otherwise been possible over the past few years. But before we get into it, of course, if you've noticed that I've missed anything in this video or any video that I've done throughout the past week or so, let me know in the comments down below. Try to make sure that it is something that has been confirmed because I don't cover rumors very directly on this channel. And as per usual, if you want to check out any of these stories, check out all the links for everything I talk about in this video down in the description, as well as the link to our Discord if you want to join that. We talk all things DPC. And of course, if you don't want to miss any more roster updates in this post-TI roster shuffling period or anything DPC related whatsoever that I cover, be sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss any uploads here, because as expected and as we see here, things are starting to really ramp up. And so if you don't want to miss any of that, do hit the bell. All right, before we get into the roster shuffling news, we do have our part 2 of the battle pass that has been released. It's been out for a few hours now. I actually have not even opened the client since it came out, but from what I can tell, the CM persona has been released. There's a new voice pack. Dire Tide is also out, as well as some new taunts and Treasure 2. I believe there's a few other things. I might be missing something. I think the candy shop is out, which from what I'm hearing, it's a bit of a work in progress. So if you're a little bit unsatisfied with that out of the gate, just check Reddit, maybe make sure that everything's good. I'll probably link that down below as well. But moral of the story, part 2 of the battle pass is out, which hopefully didn't make you just want to immediately click off this video and go play Dota. I would totally understand, but we do have a lot of news to cover here, so I'll try and be quick for you guys so you can get those pubs in, or those Dire Tide matches. Kicking things off, we got some news out from China, which has been a surprisingly quiet region over the past week or so. Not a whole lot going on, and we have some movement now coming up from RNG, who have mentioned that xNova and Ghost are going to be looking for a new squad, and both of them are willing to relocate. They mentioned that they would like to play their preferred roles, the ones that they had been playing up to that point, but yeah, willing to relocate, which is pretty exciting to hear. Again, more possibilities to be playing with players that we wouldn't have expected them to play with in the past. For RNG, this is a bit of a tough pill to swallow, I got to imagine. It's been a pretty solid season for RNG, a little bit inconsistent here and there, mainly near the start of the season with their previous carry player, but now they're going to have some holes to fill. We'll see what they end up doing heading into next season. And for the rest of the roster that is still on the team, is this a sign that they're going to start wanting to walk away too? We'll see. Is this just the start of a huge shakeup in the Chinese region, or is it going to be a little bit of a smaller change, just a few players leaving here and there? We'll have to see. All right, moving over to South America, probably our most exciting news of the day, one that has been getting teased and rumored about for about a week now, and that is the new Beast Coast roster getting announced. And it, as it was rumored, it is a mix of the old Beast Coast roster with the old Thunder Awaken roster. The new roster is going to consist of K1, Dark Mago, Sacred, Gojira, and Stinger. So 3 members of the old Beast Coast squad still sticking around, Dark Mago and Sacred coming in from Thunder Awaken, which does mean that Chris Luck and Whisper are officially free agents. They are officially off the roster, which do align with the rumors that they should end up on another stack very shortly. Hopefully we get that announcement soon, but as of right now, that's just a rumor. But for Beast Coast, this has got to be pretty exciting. It's a bit of a shame to see that this roster has fallen apart. They've been together for such a long time. I still remember watching them back at TI9 and rooting them on all the way up until they got knocked out. They'd been together for over 3 years up until that point, which is pretty ridiculous. But ultimately, they must have felt like they had reached the end of that road, and 2 of them end up leaving, and they bring in 2 more fantastic players that had some pretty amazing performances at this past TI. We'll see how this works out, and best of luck to Beast Coast heading into the new season. And as for Whisper and Chris Luck, 2 of the strongest players, I would say, from Beast Coast, specifically Whisper. I've talked numerous times about Whisper. He is just a fantastic player. Feels like whenever he's popping off, Beast Coast is just stomping all the time, and he can truly take over a game. I am super stoked to see where he ends up. And if he does end up where the rumors are suggesting, that could be pretty damn exciting. All right, let's go over to Western Europe, where we are getting the confirmation of the rumors that Amar is likely going to be getting moved off of OG. He has been currently placed He's been placed currently onto the inactive squad, so there is a new hole for OG to fill. And we have been hearing a ton about how Amar has been receiving offers from other teams to play position 1 or 3. And although he has been moved to the inactive roster, which does make it more likely that that will happen, we still don't know who those teams are, and we don't know which team he's going to be end up going to. So as of right now, Amar off the roster. As of where he goes, we don't know. And OG not able to avoid the roster shuffling period this time around. We'll see where they end up going, which direction they want to go. They are going to be joining the competition for some players with some other pretty incredible teams. Gaming Gladiators, of course, having a spot to fill, who is rumored to be maybe Quinn going to play mid for them, which would be pretty exciting. And of course, Alliance looking for players as well. They are a Div 2 team technically, but Alliance is still a big org. They will still treat their players well. So that's got to be a pretty big attractor for some players to want to go and play there. All right, moving over to Southeast Asia real quick, which is where PieLieDie last played, because he was also one of the players that joined SMG trying to get that ticket to TI. Didn't end up working out, of course, because SMG didn't register in time, but he has joined the free agent pool as well. He is going to be looking to get back into the DPC this year. Again, more players joining the free agent pool. No players having joined a team yet in Southeast Asia, from what I can tell, which is pretty exciting. All right, last little bit of news here from China for today, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, that's right. Another player joining the free agent pool is JT from Invictus Gaming. It has been a tumultuous DPC year, to say the least, for Invictus Gaming. After such an amazing run at TI last year, and just an amazing season last year overall, of course, winning that one major, of course, with the reverse sweep against EG. It looked like this was going to be one of the top teams in China, especially since they were sticking together heading into the next season. They lost Kaka, but it didn't seem like that was going to be too much of a detriment to them. They should still be one of the top teams. And it's been a pretty underwhelming season for Invictus thus far. They did qualify for the upper division heading into next season, but ultimately JT probably not feeling like things are going to be working out for the next season, and he is the first to leave. We'll see if any more leave, but for now, IG having some holes to fill heading into a pretty difficult upper division in China. So we'll see what they end up doing there. Maybe he ends up on PSG LGD. Of course, Faith Beyond having retired now after TI11, off-lane player, JT, also an offlane player. Feels like it could be a good fit. JT has always been a pretty reliable offlaner. His hero pool has been quite small traditionally over the past couple years, but still a very solid player when he's playing his best. All right, let's get into Eastern Europe, which has had a bit of a shakeup of its own. We have heard the news that BetBoom has released their roster, and we don't know if the roster is going to be sticking together looking for a new org, or if all the players are going to go their separate ways, but we do know that BetBoom is looking to put together a new roster heading into the season. They do have a slot in the upper division of the DPC in Eastern Europe, which is obviously going to be a huge thing for attracting players. It means they're going to have that immediate upper division competitiveness, that immediate upper division matches and chance for a major. For those players, it's going to be exciting to see where they end up going. They had a pretty okay showing at TI. I think it was a little underwhelming. If I recall correctly, they didn't make it out of the group stage, but there were still some pretty good moments here and there. So we'll see where BetBoom goes from there, and we'll see who ends up picking up these players, because again, they are quite individually skilled. It's just a matter of if they can end up on a team that's a little bit more consistent. Moving back over to Southeast Asia, we have news that KP and Hyde are officially leaving Talon. They're looking for a new team, and they're also willing to relocate, which is pretty exciting to hear once again. KP, of course, we knew that he was going to be willing to relocate. He's relocated numerous times in the past. He even floated the idea of maybe coaching, which I think would be pretty exciting to see from KP, someone who's been around the scene for a very, very long time and has been around the top of the scene too for a very long time. We'll see where they end up going. And Talon, once again, losing a lot of those big name players, not really holding things together as well as they'd maybe hoped to. We'll see what they're able to do into this next season, and if they're going to continue to build around 23 Savage, which fortunately didn't really work out all that well at TI. They didn't make it out of the group stage, but we'll see if they do have faith in him. All right, back over to North America. We have news, this coming from Sunlight, who is a player from KBU.US, which if you guys aren't sure, they are a lower division team heading into the upper division for next season in North America. They are allegedly going to be branding themselves from KBU.US over to Cringe Crew, which is an amazing team name. And they're going to be looking for either a position 2 or 3 player and a position 5 player heading into this season. So we'll see what they end up doing with that. best of luck to them. And yeah, just super excited to see what this North American upper division is going to look like in just a couple of months from now, or even just 1 month from now. There is a lot of shaking up that looks like it's going to be taking place. And finally, ending things off with Bait, of course, Dendy's org that has had a pretty underwhelming history up until this point. They've just kind of disappointed time and time again. They couldn't even maintain their spot in the lower division of Eastern Europe. I think it's twice now they've been relegated out of the DPC in Eastern Europe. They are allegedly going to be trying to come back through those open qualifiers with a brand new roster. We'll see what they're able to throw together. It feels like lately they've just been kind of pulling some players out of the tier 3 and tier 4 scene. Hasn't really worked out, and attracting tier 1 and tier 2 players is getting a little bit more difficult now that this squad, this org, has had such little success over the past 2 years. But best of luck to them. Everyone loves Dendy, so hopefully they end up having a comeback. And will Dendy be on that team? It's possible maybe he moves to a coaching role or more of a management role. He has been on every roster that Bait has had over the past couple of years. Will that continue to be the case? That's going to be a pretty interesting question that will be answered in the next few months, next few weeks. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, a lot going on in the DPC. If you don't want to miss it, like, share, subscribe, hit the bell. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.